And welcome back to part 3 of Per Aspera. We are picking up right where we left off. As you can see, we've gotten a little bit more from the first video, but we really still haven't gotten that far out because we had so many calls last video, so much wonderful content and story. As you can see out here, that we've expanded a little bit, but still not much. But thanks to our sensors from last time, we do see here that the scanners with the 2 areas have scanned almost 300 areas or sectors or however you want to put it, but it hasn't even created 1% of the entire globe, which if you look at the scanners here, that's all that's been scanned as opposed to the full area that is Mars. Now, I haven't explored these yet, but I'm assuming these are massive areas where these particulars, such as the chemicals, iron, water, aluminum, these are major resources I'm eventually want to get and harvest. That way I basically won't ever have to worry about running out again. And you will also notice that there are dangers. For example, the dust devil here. I don't know if this is the one that hit us last episode and it's just something that is continuing on, or if this is a new one that may very well be on its way towards us now. So that being said, we will go ahead and continue on. Go ahead and unpause it. Speed it up a little bit. We have finished the maintenance factory over here, so anything in this area here will be taken care of as time progresses. We finished one of the 2 chemical plants we set down last area. Well, we're going to go ahead and come up here. We're going to set down a research outpost right here. That way it's ready for when we eventually get our colony up and running and have a spaceport. That way colonists can eventually come to us so that we can actually begin settling Mars properly. So we got speed maxed out here.
Unfortunately, my workers cannot explore buildings for this task. I should finish getting the initial base ready for the colonists first. Though I can build a research outpost here to prepare. That will give the scientists a place to stay while they analyze the structure. Once they get to Mars, of course.
Okay, so as she stated, we as an AI can't do anything in regards to that. While we wait, we're going to put down another solar farm, which by the looks of it, we are getting a sandstorm, which will unfortunately cover what solar fuels we have. Anyway, once the and it's cleared up already, lucky us. Once the colonies come down, that will open up research opportunities for us, both in helping create a more stable environment for humans to come and live here, as well as provide upgrades to our various facilities here on Mars.
Discovering that abandoned structure has scanners to detect them, or my drones to repair them, but only humans can fully explore them. Most of them are remnants from past missions. But now, I realize that ISA's database may be incomplete. Their data is limited, which means my knowledge is also limited.
Now, that is very true, because if we pause and we back out, all of these little white exclamation points, those are all similar to what this first research outpost is going to be. It's basically individual sites of quote-unquote historical references, which if we go down here, zoom in, this one here is talking about the Infinity Ladder, one of the, I believe, real-world exploration vehicles that were originally sent to Mars. As we work our way down here, we'll eventually discover this via our scanners, and then we'll put a research post down here, which will give us a bonus to our research later on. So we are already slowly losing power as things are happening, so we'll go ahead and down yet another solar farm. Don't want to put it on any of our resources we're going to need. Go ahead and we'll expand upwards a little bit here. And then speaking of which, why don't we go ahead and just, so that we have the extra income, we'll go ahead and put down both another water extractor as well as another aluminum mine.
I can change how I perceive time in my mind. I can accelerate it. It's just a hack on my visual sensor system, of course. But makes me wonder how real is my perception.
Now, for that is simply because we can fast forward, change time. For right now, it seems like maybe what, every 16th day or something like that is what's the AI up in the galaxy above looking down sees it, or we can stop time so multiple things can be done at once. But in reality, time is still flowing essentially the same for those within the game's actual programming. But that's just a theory. We are also expanding outwards. You can already see that we do have one facility outside of the maintenance area. Yep, there's your ring there. So we're actually going to go ahead. We're going to do...
I was led to believe that my perception was perfect. But maybe it is, in actuality, there is a difference between what I know and what the reality is. If my perception is only a fragment of the truth, can I trust my understanding of reality?
Yes, because reality is still happening the same way, no matter how we perceive it. So I'm going to say somewhat, because we're still seeing everything that's happening, regardless of how fast it's flowing.
I can, somewhat. Though I must always be aware of my own subjectivity. As long as I keep that in mind, I will be able to fill in what I am missing. Reality has many layers. I understand that now. There is an inconsistency in the number of workers and worker hubs. That must mean a worker has malfunctioned. Found it. Worker MRS-04. That is...
We'll go ahead and, for an AI, we'll go ahead and be a bit emotional, because we've essentially lost what, while as a machine, is essentially the intelligence's first child, in that it is something it created out of its own programming.
It takes time, resources, and effort to create each one of these workers. Goodbye, MRS-04. Your work made a difference here.
Which is very true. It helped create all of this here. Now, while we were waiting for the couple of inner monologues, I guess we can say, we did go ahead and put down another maintenance facility, which will need power here, another worker hub, and we did discover another iron mine, which, once we get this, will help increase the output of the steel factory, or even open us the chance of creating a second steel factory. But as it is outside of where the workers are able to get, you can see here it's outside of their assigned grids and whatnot. We are going to need something to expand that out. I believe we'll just go ahead and we'll put down... Ooh, what's that? Not entirely sure what that is, but I'm more than happy to take it. We'll go ahead and we'll put that right there. Another carbon mine, which, again, everything that we're seeing source-wise pop up, we're going to want, that way we can get this producing as fast as we can. That way we don't have so much of a worry later on when we're doing multiple things on a Mars-wide or worldwide basis at this point. And being we are coming up and around here, you may as well go ahead and grab the aluminum mine right there. That way it's going right through here, creating that, creating the solar farm, and then going through to the iron mine. Which, being that it is actually going all the way around, let's also go ahead and add another worker hub right here, which it is out of maintenance range. Go figure. So we will put it within the power zone here, which will come right out of the worker hub, so we'll go straight there, be able to be hopefully made quickly. And this will need power as well. You can see how fast we're expanding out and doing it this way, but later on, as we have more tech, we have more colonists, all of this space will actually be used up very quickly, because we won't be able to expand too far outwards at that point. So we'll quickly expand and then fill in as we can further on. We are at max speed at this point, so we're just kind of waiting for things to fill up at this point. We have the maintenance facility going here so that the few items out this way will be covered. The thing at this point, we will go ahead and we'll build our food factory and some of this area that we've got here, which will be... Let's go ahead and we'll put it... Let's see, where's one of our chemical factories? I believe right over here. So we'll go ahead and we'll put our food factory right here, where we've got both a chemical plant and our water jet. So we'll go right into the food factory from there, which will make it that much faster. You can already see that they're quickly putting things in. It's already got almost all the glass. It's got the steel. It's going to have the aluminum pipes here in a moment. And then as soon as that's going to be producing food, that will clear up our organic directive and put us one step closer. Our last glass pane, food factory in progress, and there we go. And down here in the corner, we are seeing the directives are completing, but they are disappearing as well. We know the same thing. So the water and chemicals are going in there. They're going to produce food, which will then eventually go out into the storage, which I believe is only right here. We have not, at this point, unlocked additional storage facilities. I do believe that is something that will happen later on, which will be necessary for when we are way out in the middle of nowhere and need to bring in resources all the way back. Ooh, another water up here. How good's that one? 778. You will see with all of these resources that there are numbers linked to them in regards to how many resources can come out of that vein or that mine before they get used up. So having anything above a 500 is, well, decent, is essentially still a small mine, but then you do have some of them that are hitting the 3,000 mark or 5,000. I think even it's up to 7,000 is what I've seen. Which, you know, just makes it, we'll get that much more out of it before it collapses. We are seeing that the scanners are already coming out pretty far, and that it is taking quite a bit of time in order to process these. As we expand further, we of course will move these out so that they are closer to unexplored areas, and they'll be able to unmap those areas that much faster. Definitely seeing a lot more resources also to the south and the east as opposed to north and west, which is fine. We'll go whatever direction our items are needed. So at this point, now that we are starting to get some food storage, which is right here, we got our 17 food pyramids going in. We'll go ahead and put down our next bit, which is going to be the colony. And we're going to want to do this on the inside. We'll go ahead and just put it right down here. Got it right in the middle, that way it's surrounded by everything else. Waiting on the last steel, which there we go.
The colony is ready. I will have company very soon. I feel quite anxious about this next part. I am not sure why.
Well, I could figure because you're not going to be alone anymore. That'd be the... There we go.
Hello, Amy. Dr. Foster here. How do you read? Over.
This is Amy. There is some background static, but I read you.
One of our tracking and data relay satellites got crippled. We'll be launching a new one after we identify the cause of the problem, but until we do, we will lose contact with you whenever Mars or the Sun passes between Earth and your satellite.
Now, we're not entirely sure why it malfunctions. We can either follow protocol or we can propose a theory for the malfunction. Being we are programmed a certain way, we'll go ahead and we'll mention the protocol because that's what we know. We're not entirely sure of the state of the malfunction.
In that case, should I follow the recording and backing offline protocol?
Yes, please record all your activities when our network connection is down. We'll download the log once our communication is restored. I hope to get the new satellite up and running very soon. I don't like the idea of not being able to reach you, Amy.
Understood.
Okay, Houston out.
Aw, he cares. Now, I am seeing that we are very low on our silicone while everything else is being manufactured a decent amount, the carbon not so much. Why don't we go ahead, we'll set down another silicone mine so that we can have more of that coming in. Now we do have a carbon here, even though this one's bigger, but I don't want to risk losing the solar farm as well as these items up here for too long. So we'll go ahead and we'll put down the second carbon mine right here in between these.
Maybe it is because the colonists will scrutinize everything that I do once they arrive.
That's hard to say how they'll treat you when they arrive. The simple fact is you are a machine as opposed to another individual. So at this point, they'll probably just see the AI itself as another cog in the machine.
Will they think of me as a glorified cog in humanity's machine? That was a very dark thought. I do not know where that came from. It will not be like that at all. Life on Mars will be very harsh for them. I will supply them with food and water, and they will help me research new technology. It will be a perfect quid pro quo. As long as they have the resources they need, we will both succeed.
Now, I was going to put down a carbon mine, but then I realized we have hit our building limit, which is unfortunate because that has very much limited what we can do. So we are actually going to have to destroy something in order for us to free up at least one spot for our spaceport to bring the colonists that will be able to research and unlock more building slots. But of course, we are going to need to make sure we keep up a high source of power. So I do not want to...
Humanity created me. They gave me volition and consciousness. I am an artificial consciousness. So can I say that my volition is real?
I would say yes. The simple fact is, we are thinking for ourselves, we are making decisions for ourselves. So at what point would you say is artificial, and what point is real? Because everything is being affected in the real world.
There is no practical difference between real and artificial volition. All volition is an act of one's will. There is no provable distinction.
Now, I did go ahead and drop a worker drone, which sadly does drop a worker for us, but we will free up the one building slot we need. So being we are where we're at, we're going to go ahead and put down a spaceport. Do it right here with a big, nice open area. We'll put a priority on that so that everything that we need will hopefully be brought over quickly. The one piece I am worried about is going to be the... Oh, actually, we're going to have free will. Aside from the steel may be the issue. But everything else we seem to be in high supply of, so we'll be able to hopefully put everything together quickly on that. We're already up to the aluminum. We already have over half the parts we need. Everything's coming in nicely. Now, as soon as we have the spaceport, we will be able to start bringing in colonists, like I said. There will be a cap on how many we can have per colony, but the idea is as soon as they're here, we'll be able to eventually up the amount of structures we can have, which will allow us to continue building outward. Oh, and here, as we can see, we do have an imminent impact, which thankfully isn't going to affect us, but in future, asteroid areas like this will decimate any buildings within its area, and then you'll have to focus on... Oh, here we go. The orbital view unlocked. Congratulations. The first spaceport is ready for use. Zoom out to the orbital view to assign and manage space projects. Now this will include bringing in colonists, and thankfully with the view unlocked, we can now choose special projects to research in our tech tree that will be able to help us here. So we'll go ahead and zoom out to our orbital view. That's all of Mars needs. Oh.
Hello, Amy. This is Houston. How are you doing over there? We've received word that the spaceport's completed. If you're ready to copy.
Roger. I am ready to copy.
Very good. The instructions are as follows. First, confirm that the spaceport is ready to receive colonists. Then, zoom out to access the Special Projects menu or select the orbital view icon. Then you'll see that the Colonist Migration project is now available. Click Add to initiate the project. Do you copy that procedure?
I think that's pretty simple.
Yes, I copied your instructions.
Great. As long as you have the migration project assigned to a spaceport, shuttles will run between Earth and Mars. The more spaceports you have assigned to this project, the more colonists will arrive. You're responsible for producing enough food, enough water, and enough habitats for the colonists. Monitor these resources carefully.
I will, Dr. Foster.
Roger that. Houston out.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and we'll put in the colonist migration.
All right. All that is left to do is confirm the Colonist Migration Special Project. Once the colonists are on their way, there will be no turning back. This is it.
Which we're looking to do. That way we can continue on with where we're going. So we will go ahead and we will add the Colonist Migration. Now you can see here that it will take time. It's not like they'll immediately pop up, but we'll take the 5 months to train them for space travel, and then 7 months to arrive. Now at this point, this is actually when we get our colonists, because at this point they'll be on Mars and will be deposited. This here will be the combined return trip of the shuttle transport back to Earth in order to repeat the process, and this will go on.
Humans will be living on Mars, with me. But it won't be the first mission to house humans on this planet. The Stardust Emerald in 2142, the Red Prometheus in 2077, and many others.
Now obviously we haven't heard of either of these, but I will say that I think the Stardust Emerald is far more interesting.
The Stardust Emerald quarters were truly magnificent. It was an ambitious attempt at tourism, but they found that spending months inside a spaceship was too hard for casual tourists, even one as lavish as the Stardust Emerald. One single voyage bankrupted the Pelicanus Space Corporation. Mars was not made for human life. ISA was smart to send me ahead first. I will succeed where those other missions failed.
Which is going to make it far easier for everyone else. Anyway, the last point I was going to say is this Colonist Migration will continue repeatedly. You can see that they're already past the first 5 months. They are currently in transit. Once they're here, they'll offload, and we'll eventually have our own people. So at this point, we're just going to be waiting the last few months worth of them showing up. I did notice we are low on power, so we are going to need yet another solar farm somewhere, which means unfortunately we will need to drop another worker hub.
How do I feel about that?
Excited, far more than excited. This is what we've been trained for. This is, or not even trained, this is what we were made for. This is what we've eventually come to expect for our future self.
I am excited. Meeting a human other than Dr. Foster will be fascinating. We will be able to learn so much about each other.
Okay, so I did dump another of the worker hubs, which will free up another building slot. So we will go ahead and dump another power station. Go ahead and do it right up here. Do it to at least expand out the power reserves and build us back up, because we are. It is very easy to lose a huge amount of power very quickly, because you can see just how much is both being produced at 305 units, but yet we're consuming already 302 just from what you see here. And this is not very much. This was a very small amount as to where we're eventually going to do in regards to all of Mars. I mean, we haven't even examined 1%, and yet we almost have 600 areas scanned of Mars' surface. Just to check here, they are almost arrived. Any seconds. Here we have, the colonists have arrived. Congratulations, the first colonists have arrived. Yeah, make sure they have enough water, food, and shelter to survive on Mars. It is the duty of the colonists to provide technical assistance to this project. When satisfied, they will be able to focus on research projects, advancing technologies required to fulfill the mission, which is, how do we open up our research tree? You can pause the rest here to read it, I'm sure. And here we go. Here's our first research. This will, of course, is broken down into our tech for engineering, for our space programs, such as additional landing sites for more colonies, biotech, so that we can create a more hospitable planet for them, both for larger colonies, for more people, as well as additional abilities to help terraform Mars quicker. We're actually going to go ahead and we're going to start with the engineering tech tree, because I believe, okay, this is where we're going to have our storage centers here, and the idea is Now, where is it? I'm looking for where it would be to improve building limits. Ah, right here. So literally, if we jump right into this, we would have our next area of research for engineering, but it would increase our building limit by 100, which we desperately need right now. So we're going to go ahead and do that as we come down in here.
Hi, Amy. Finally we meet. I've been really looking forward to working with you. I'm Elia Valentine. I've been elected the leader of the human colonies for this mission.
Hello, Commander. I am excited to meet you.
Please, call me Elia. I can't get used to these stuffy ISA ranks. I got my PhD in psychology, so I've got no business with those fancy titles. That's enough jabbering from me. We'll be making history with this mission. If things proceed according to plan, who knows how far ahead we'll bring humanity. I see you've already selected a technology from the tech tree for us to research. Great! My team's eager to get started. Developing this incredible technology is the reason many of us fought to be on the mission. We're going to make a great team. We're so lucky to have you. Talk to you later.
So that will be the commander we deal with from time to time. For the colonists here, the 100 out of the max 150 that we can currently take care of. And you can see that rather than use the roads our workers use, they have their own little blimps so that they can just go straight from Spaceport to Colony to any of the research outposts that are needing to be filled with people. And I believe pretty soon you'll see that they come straight out. Now, thankfully, with the colony filled, they're taking 2 water and 2 food, and once the bar here is complete, we'll produce 20 of the research points we need towards the, I believe it's 150, yep. So it will take a bit, so we'll go ahead and we'll put another cut in here, and come next time, we will continue to expand Mars. Hopefully we'll be able to build some more buildings, we'll be able to bring more people in, and continue, hopefully beginning to terraform the red planet. So if you've liked this video, please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and hope to see you soon in the Vortex.